My name is Molly Baldwin, and on behalf of the young people for Roca Baltimore and the incredible staff team, we are so grateful you are all here. We're here to say thank you. We're here to let you know what we're doing. What we'd like to do briefly is show you a quick video, and then we're going to welcome people and have a few remarks and thank you. All right, while we're waiting, I want to recognize several people, and I apologize if I missed you. I mean, first of all, we are thrilled beyond words to have Mayor Pugh here. She is really the reason that Roca Baltimore started, and we will have her say a few words at the end. Are you ready, George?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. We'll look at the video quickly, sorry.
This is a rare opportunity that the whole staff sees to help really reduce some of that harm. And it is presence of mind in everyone of like, you just don't know if you don't get to a young person today, tomorrow could be the day that they're shot. If we don't make the most out of today, you just don't know what tomorrow's going to bring.
No program I've worked for, no program I know of. Continue knocking on doors, calling phones.
If we're going to irritate some young people or their parents or family because we knocked on the door too many times, okay, let's go irritate them. If that's what it takes.
My job is phenomenal because I get to chase them down. In the alley, on the trap, in the house that they never thought I'd walk in. So I'll show up while they sleep with their girlfriend. Hey, knock, knock, I'm here. Let's go, buddy. You know what I'm saying?
They know this building as their home, as Roca. They know how to get in. They know where they're going to go before work. They know what classrooms are programming. They know what office is mine. They know where the youth workers are.
You know when you come here, positivity is in the air, no negativity. Like when you come here, you know everything is sincere and positive.
I never met somebody that say, how you doing every day? Or somebody say, are you hungry? Or somebody say, you need somebody to talk to? I never in my life had somebody come up to me and say any one of those words.
It's so important that every day we're doing something positive and we're trying to impact their life that day, because we don't know how long we have them and we don't know where they're at on that particular day.
I'm lucky to have them
because they teach me more than I teach them.
The more that we continue to show up and we continue to do our job effectively and really show that we care about the young people that we're working with, the work is basically going to speak for itself.
Hope is a reality, and hope is a change agent. It took a living practitioner to invest time out of his life for me to get to a point where so I could begin to do something different with my life. I was really eager for the first young person, and now we have a bunch of them, right? I was really eager for the first work crew. Now we got a work crew plus a bench.
Wow, I see us 2 years from now with a couple hundred participants, active, going to work, and for Roca to be a household name in the city, making a difference, and people really seeing the impact of our work.
Let's take this relentlessness and go full speed ahead and challenge whoever we have to challenge to be able to drive success in the city.
You want to know, if we haven't knocked on your door yet, we'll be there. I'd like to recognize the former United States Senator Mikulski, who was here earlier, also the State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby, who was here and had to leave, and Delegate Nick Mosby. I would really like to also recognize Chuck Connor and Haley Sinclair from Van Hollen's office. We're so honored to have you here. Also Joe Clocker, who's the head of probation and parole, who's been so extraordinarily helpful. We'd like to thank Commissioner Tuggle, who is here with members of his team, and as well as Jason Cohen-Perkins, who is the Director for Employment and Jobs. And with that, what we'd like to do is have the three leaders of Roca Baltimore speak briefly. Layla Lehman's the Executive Director, J.T. Timpson and Kurt Palermo are co-directors, and they will share a few words with you.
Good evening, everyone.
thank you all for joining us, and Madam Mayor, thank you for being able to attend tonight and all of your support. So this is really exciting. You know, I met Molly 6 years ago when she started on this journey to bring Roca to Baltimore. And at the time I was with the mayor's office, and you know, I was familiar with a lot of programs, I've run a lot of programs, and we were seeing this gap. And the gap that we were seeing was we weren't meeting the needs of the highest risk young men. Those men who are out on the street corners, and if you approach them about a program, they're like, nah, I'm not interested. I'm good. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, right? Those young men who maybe come into a program, but throw a chair across the classroom, and they're found non-compliant and they're dismissed. Stop showing up, dismissed, because, you know, they just stopped showing up, so we can't do anything with them. Those young men who are at the highest risk for becoming victims of violence, for ending up in long-term incarceration, and we weren't meeting their needs. And Molly brought to me and showed me, you know, laid out Roca, right? A 4-year evidence-based, intensive model intervention that had what were the missing links for us, right? It had the emotional regulation that helps people to stop and think and figure out how to make different decisions. It took the time needed to serve these young men the way that they really need it, which is through a 4-year program to help support them and help them truly learn how to work. And, you know, I am so excited that through everyone's support here, everyone's commitment, it was a long road, and it is amazing that we're here tonight. And the opportunity in front of us for our young people, we are all just so excited about and appreciate the support. I do want to thank, we have a staff right now there are 13 of us currently. I don't know if those of you out there, they're in Roca gear for most of them, but if you all raise your hands, we have a truly committed staff. We've been on the ground for 6 months, and they are relentless. They have doors slammed in their faces every day. They get yelled at, and they come back with a smile, and they're doing it because they believe in our young people, and they believe in our city, and they want to be part of that change. So thank all of you for everything you've done, and we're looking forward to the journey ahead of us because we have a long road ahead of us. I would also like to thank, you know, our criminal justice partners, the police department, the parole and probation, the Department of Juvenile Services have been wonderful partners in helping us move forward with our young people. Our referrals, it's been a wonderful, supportive relationship, and we're looking forward to continue to working with you all. And most importantly, a couple of our young people graced us with their presence tonight. We have 3 young people with us, and you know what I want to say to you all is, you see all these people in the room, right? They're here because they believe in change, and they want to support and see you change, and they want to see you guys reach your full potential. Right? I know, I'm embarrassing y'all, but this is why we're here. Don't get too big of a head. But this is why we're here. So thank you all for coming out tonight. We're so honored to have you all. And I am going to throw it to our Director of Program Operations and Employment, Kurt Palermo.
Good evening, everyone. For the past 5.5 years, I've been with Roca in many capacities, from youth work to programming, employment, and as an assistant director in Springfield, Massachusetts. For about 5 of those years, Baltimore had been discussed and talked about, and replication was something that I'd always been interested in being a part of. But in December, when the official announcement was made, I knew I had to be a part of it. That's when I told Molly I was ready, you know, if I could be lucky enough to be a part of it. And in March, I came here. It was Molly, Lily, and myself sharing a small office across the street. In April, we brought on JT, and since then, we've become a team of 13 dedicated individuals who truly believe that young people matter and can do something different in their lives. We have 50 young people assigned to youth workers, transitional employment work crew working alongside the city's Parks and Rec Department, and a building that seems to be abuzz no matter if it's 6:30 in the morning or 8 o'clock at night. I'm truly blessed to be a part of this. This opportunity has changed my life. And I'm grateful to be able to help the young people in Baltimore, and I hope to be here for a very long time. I'll kick it over to James Timpson, our Director of Youth Work and Intervention.
Good evening, everyone. Where do I start? It's been a long journey to get here. This is my city. This is my home. The people that, what we do every day, we get an honor to do. It's not a job. I get an opportunity to give back to young men that have, in some instances, had so many doors slammed in their faces, so many hurdles placed in front of them. We get the opportunity every day to actually serve these young men. We serve them. And it's an honor because they deserve it. And what I realize with this work each and every day is that a lot of what these young men see and what we give them, or what we do with them each and every day, it's nothing more than simple humanity. We build relationships with these young men. We build trusting relationships with these young men. We show them that they love us, that we love them, no matter how much they get on my nerves. I love them to death. We believe in them. And we have the opportunity to really help them transform their lives in the way in which they see necessary, a way in which they would like to. It's truly an honor to be able to do this work. I met Molly probably about 4 or 5 years ago as well. And when you talk about relentless, this lady right here, it embodies it all. Because she chased me down for 4 years. Until I finally agreed to say yes and give it a shot. In the same way that she chased me down is the way that we go after these young men, the way that we go after our partners, the way that we really want to drive success in this city. We're so thankful and appreciative to the mayor for giving us this opportunity to actually bring this program to Baltimore, where it was a huge gap, because I've been around a long time. I've seen a lot of programs. There are a lot of great programs in Baltimore. But when I tell you that we work with high-risk young men, I don't think people really understand the definition of what we're talking about. But I invite you to come to Roca, and I invite you to see the young men that we work with, and I invite you to see the positivity, the success, and the change that some of these young men have made already. Thank you.
A few quick words and introduce you to several other people. First of all, I want to say that it is not okay in any way, shape, or form that the level of violence that is taking place in Baltimore or any other city across this country is acceptable. Every young person, every grown-up, every child, whether you are 3 or 5 or 15 or 20 or 24 or 30 or 50 deserves to live. And we have to work together to stop this, and we have to do it in a different way. It is totally not acceptable. To every young person out there who is struggling, who wonders if they're going to live long enough, you matter. And it is our privilege to be here with you. And I hope if you hear about this or see this, and when you get somebody in a purple shirt knocking on your door, that at some point answer that door, because you matter. And we believe in you, and we know you can change, and we know life can have more and good and joy. And all these people who come here today, who we need to say thank you to, have helped us build the start of a very long but important road. We would never be here without funding, without advice, without political support, and so we have a few very special people who are going to speak tonight, and we need to say thank you to all of you for what you've done so far, and all the leaning on you, and all the advice you're going to give us next, because we have a long road. And we are so grateful and so honored to do this work. So I'm excited to introduce you to Calvin Butler from BGE, who will be our first speaker.
So good evening, everyone. And Molly, congratulations to you, Layla, Kurt, and JT, because all these people here tonight are here to support you and to let you know that they believe in the mission. But make no mistake about it, as CEO of BGE, we are here for a couple of reasons. One, of our commitment to this great city. Two, because the mayor leaned on. No, I'm saying, in all seriousness, you know, these things happen because it takes leadership. It takes someone with leadership and vision to sit back and say, we have to do something different. This is not an either-or proposition. This is an and proposition, and Roca represents that and of the very important work to reach out to individuals in our community, as JT said and you have said, that have been forgotten. When you look at this placard to the left, it represents a long list of people who have said that we believe in what you're trying to do, and we're putting up funds to support your effort, not just in dollars to get you started, but a partnership in resources and talent. So when BGE and our parent company, Exelon, sat up and talked with the mayor when her request, that was a very expensive breakfast, but it said, you know, we need to do something different. Our presence here tonight represents that we believe in you. And we believe in the mission, and we're committed in this partnership because we recognize that you can't do it by yourself. And more importantly, everyone in this room recognizes it's not about just Roca being successful. It's about us and all of us being successful to move our city forward. So on behalf of me and every business, foundation, and charitable organization represented on that placard, we support you, and we look forward to partnering with you every step of the way. So congratulations.
So a long time ago when we started this relentless outreach, and we are relentless, as you can hear from young people and everyone here, we learned the hard way that a key partner would be the police. We understand this is an unusual partnership because those who are causing the most trouble generally don't have the best relationships with the police or vice versa. But we're not magic. We can't put domes over young people and keep them alive. And we understand that partnerships between community members and police and young people is the key to safety. And so we are really honored. We have a group of people in the Baltimore Police Department who are extraordinary partners, and we're honored to have Commissioner Tuggle here to say a few words. And thank you so much.
Good evening. First of all, I want to thank everybody for coming. Particularly, I want to thank the mayor for her leadership and our sponsors. But equally as important is the leadership from within the police department. It took a lot of courage to come out of that myopic silo of just law enforcement to say, we can do this in another way. For us, Roca is truly a force multiplier. So in particular, I want to thank Colonel Byron Conaway, who's led the police department's efforts to bring this about. And when you look at how you push this effort down into the districts, all 9 districts within the city, you need leadership on the ground. And Captain, I want to thank you for that leadership, particularly in the Western, which is one of our key partnership districts. So with that in mind, I want to again thank you all for coming and have you recognize that we ask nothing in return because again, you are truly a force multiplier for us. We'd much rather see them in your hands than ours.
So I'm really excited to introduce our next speaker, all the way from Massachusetts. Sheriff Tompkins is a long-standing partner. He knows all the good and all the not so good, but I asked him not to talk about that tonight. We are so honored that he and members of his team happen to be in town, and so we're just honored to have you, Sheriff, and would love to have you share a few words.
Let me start with saying this. When I think about Roca, I think about our national anthem, and I think about the words, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I've referenced that to say this: we are one nation, but we're a divided nation. And not all of our citizens are realizing liberty or justice. And you have an organization like Roca, which I believe in Spanish means rock. You have an organization like Roca that's going to come in, roll up their sleeves, and work with those guys and those ladies that don't want help. They need help, they don't realize they need help, and they continue to push it away. And Molly and her team keeps coming back and keeps coming back and keeps coming back. We've seen this in Boston, Chelsea, Holyoke, Springfield, in Lynn, Massachusetts. So she's proven that this model works. She's in Baltimore now. And I want to thank you, Mayor, for bringing her down. And I want to thank all of the funders for bringing her down and bringing this organization here. As Calvin mentioned, this may have been somewhat of an expensive proposition, but look at it this way. I have 1,600 inmates in my facility at $60,000 a head. That's a lot of money. So the question then becomes, how do we as a nation want to spend our money? Do we want to keep folk out of the criminal justice system? Or do we want to just keep throwing people and money away? And Roca is doing the right thing by spending the money the right way to keep folk out of the criminal justice system. And I'll close by saying this. Of those 1,600 people in my facility, 65% are Black, Latino, or poor. So when I talk about this nation, and I talk about liberty, and I talk about justice, I'm also looking for equity. And that's what Roca brings to every location that they work in. I've been working with Molly for over 15 years now. I won't tell some bad stories, although I know them all, but I won't go there. But I am so happy that they are here in Baltimore, and I look forward to this organization being a national organization somewhere down the road. Thank you so much, Baltimore.
I think he just thinks I'm not going to knock on his door anymore. Before we sort of thank our first investors, I want to say two things. One's just to divert personally. I want to thank my father, who has done, he's floating around here somewhere, so much for the city of Baltimore. And I hope in some small way I can, follow in your legacy. I will never be able to do that. There are zillions of people to thank. We've got lots of names on here, but there's a special group we really want to say out loud, and we are saving the most important person for last, so she is not left out, don't worry. My colleague and board chair, Stu Chapin's going to join me. He's going to say a few words, and then we just want to read off the names of all the key investors, our startup investors, and ask all of you to come up. We have an award for you. I'd like to take a picture, and then we will have the mayor say a few words. So, here you go.
I'll just share a couple of things that I think we all know and we've all talked about already. We all know that change is possible. I don't think there's anybody who would be in this room tonight if they didn't share that belief that change is possible. We know that change is really hard. It's really hard for these young men, but it's possible. But we also know that it takes a lot of partners and of all kinds. It takes with commitment of all kinds. It takes probation officers, and it takes the insurance agent. It takes the mayor, and it takes our youth workers. It takes all of those people committing their time, their talent, and some measure of their treasure to get us to where we are today and where we hope to be over the next few years. So, but we would like to say a special thanks right now to the group of partners here in Baltimore who have responded with the kind of commitment, not just of dollars, but of true partnership, and recognize them tonight.
And what we're going to do is just ask you to come up, and I'm not sure I have all of you. So I have awards for everyone, but I'm not sure every name. So first of all, Calvin Butler from BGE. And Bob Embry and Cheryl Goldstein from the ABLE Foundation. Mr. Brown, Mr. Pearson, Mr. Flamer, Mr. Lee, and Mr. Young from Brown Capital Management. They're on their way. Yes, I want you all. I'm not trying to escape. Yes, Brad Shapiro and Misty Brown from the Jabber 5 Real Estate Group. Ron Daniels, you may not not be here from Johns Hopkins. We'll come back to that. Kathy Brill here? Nope. Okay. Steve Solomon from Exelon. Kirby Fowler from the Downtown Partnership for Baltimore. You here? Good. May or may not be here. Okay. Amy Gross and Wally Pinkard from the Franz Marek Foundation. I know Amy was here earlier. Marta and Courtney from Venable. I think someone's here. And I'm not sure if anyone's here from the Casey Foundation or Weinberg. Yes, great, yes. There's Rachel. Sorry, come up. Please. Come up here. Hi, sorry. And I don't think anyone from T-Row Price is here either. So, before the mayor speaks, who really pushed this over the line, I want to thank all of you again so much for your incredible generosity and making this important venture start. And we need your help for a long time. Thank you so much. Councilman Pinkett, welcome. Apparently you're here. I'm not sorry. There you are. Thank you so much. So we did a lot of work for a long time, as some of you know, and we had a few false starts that were not so fun. And then we got blessed big time. Mayor Pugh really did an incredible job pushing this project over the line, helping us put resources together and support. Mayor, we commit to you our hard work, an incredible team, total transparency, and we're in it for the long haul. Thank you so much. We are so very honored.
Let me first say, Molly, thank you. Your dad, and this actually began before we really introduced. I was actually campaigning, and I would always stop in this cafe in Cross Keys in the morning, and your dad approached me and said, have you heard about Roca? You know, my daughter is doing this incredible work, and she's not able to do it here, and she's been trying to do it here. So I couldn't wait to get elected. Thank you, Baltimore, for electing me. When I heard about Roca, I did some research, and you're talking about a program that really does work. And so we knew that to get Roca off of the ground, we needed $10 million to jumpstart Roca. And we thought that we were about to start, and somehow it didn't start. So I never forget that meeting, Calvin, with the GBC Executive Committee, who wanted to tell me about my need to focus on reducing violence. Whoa, number one focus. And they said, you know, you really got to do this, that, and the other. And they said, well, let's begin the meeting. I said, well, why don't I begin? First, let me tell you where we are, how we got there, and where we need to go. But at the end of this conversation, I want you all to know that I have an ask. Because I didn't come here not knowing what needed to be done. I didn't come here not understanding the research that needed to take place. I knew we were 545 police officers down before I got elected. You know, I knew we didn't have computers in police cars before I got elected. I also knew that crime was spiraling out of control in this city. And here's what I do know. Even though we're trending down in violence, one life lost is one life too many. And so I knew that we had to do something different. And so what I said to them is, at the end of all of this, I want you to know that I am squarely focused on reducing violence in this city. It is one of our number one priorities. But I'm also concerned about the young men who are standing on the corners of our streets. You know, we created mobile units because we felt that people were not going to jobs. So we said, well, let's bring the jobs to them. Then we found out that there were a number of people who needed their records expunged. So then we put lawyers on those units. It still was not enough. And I said to the gentlemen and the women who were sitting in that room, I said, my ask is for $10 million. I said, because the city can't do this work by itself. You know, we've got call to action groups, we've got all kinds of organizations, and I said this to the philanthropic community, but what I want you to know is that people in this community respond when the program is right, when the data proves that it can work, they will step up to the plate. Thank you, Calvin, Ron Daniels, and all of you all who were in that room that morning. Because I want you all to know that I walked out of that room with a $6 million commitment, and by the end of the week I had $10 million. So we believe in Roca, because Roca is about changing lives. It's about providing opportunity for these young folks who don't believe that people believe in them. And we believe in the future of our city. And we believe in every single person who's standing on that corner that wants an opportunity, or who has not figured out how to get up out of the bed, into the street, and work. Because one component of this is working. And people want to work. They want to work if you show them a pathway to success. So we know already that Roca is going to be a successful program in Baltimore. Somebody asked me, how do you measure success? I said, we measure it because it has started. So every individual that we touch, whose life changes, who gets an opportunity, and as the individuals who sit here, who work here, this is not a job. It is a blessing. So I'm hoping that the 300 folks that we intend to eventually touch every single year, and I'm with you, I believe we can grow this program because there's so much need out there. You know, we made Baltimore City Community College free, so there's no reason for those who want to go to college not to go. But we also know that there are folks who haven't figured out their way, and that's what Roca provides. So Molly, I can't thank you enough. I can't thank your dad enough for leaning over and saying, you need to meet my daughter. Well, Baldwin, I met her. And I'm proud that she's here in Baltimore. He said, she's a Baltimorean. She's here in Baltimore. And she's put together an extraordinary team of people who I believe are going to work in the best interest of all of us. Thank you so much. Thank you for the work that you're doing.